All right, let's get right into it. Today we're diving into an explainer that breaks down Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella's incredibly fascinating insights on the future of AI, hardware, and human labor. We're going to unpack a comprehensive vision of exactly where technology is heading, straight from one of the core architects of the current AI boom. We're looking way beyond the basic headlines here to really understand the deep, structural shifts that are happening right now in our economy and in our daily workflows. Here is our roadmap for this explainer. We'll be looking at building the AI ecosystem, rethinking Xbox, the OpenAI partnership, navigating the backlash, humans and glue work, and finally, the political economy of AI.
First up, Section 1, building the AI ecosystem, and the big shift from single models to ubiquitous intelligence. So, we're seeing a massive shift from talking about just one single frontier model to a complete ecosystem where literally every enterprise operates at the AI frontier. Nadella makes a really profound point here. An AI-driven economy can't just be about three major tech firms holding all the keys. It has to be widespread. To pull that off, we are moving toward what's called agent-first hardware. Imagine a world of totally unmetered intelligence. Instead of always having to ping the cloud, we're going to have devices capable of running massive trillion-parameter models locally. Think about a nurse walking through a hospital wearing a smart little badge. That badge is constantly acting as a localized ambient agent. It's scanning, it's listening to speech, and it's turning those observations into highly useful prompts on the fly, 24/7. That is the true promise of agent-first hardware. Completely unmetered ambient intelligence that's just there when you need it.
Moving on to Section 2, rethinking the Xbox business and sustainability in gaming.
Because as it turns out, this massive AI infrastructure boom is creating unexpected ripple effects in places you might not expect, like Microsoft's gaming division. As the Xbox ecosystem hits its 25th anniversary, it's actually facing a highly unique challenge. The very same AI and cloud technologies that Microsoft is aggressively championing are driving up the prices of the physical components required to build gaming consoles. So they absolutely have to pivot to a model that's economically sustainable to offset the scarcity of semiconductors and memory caused by the AI boom. Traditionally, the gaming industry subsidized the cost of the hardware and then they made their money back on direct game sales and subscriptions, right? But in the current AI era, we are seeing sky-high semiconductor costs. Add to that the really fascinating reality that right now, platforms like YouTube are often monetizing Xbox gameplay more effectively than Microsoft itself. It's wild, and it forces a complete reimagining of the hardware and publishing models to ensure the next 25 years of gaming are actually economically viable.
Section 3, the Microsoft OpenAI partnership and its dramatic evolution.
To understand the engine driving these incredible hardware and tech demands, we've got to look at the dramatic, yet highly fruitful, partnership between Microsoft and OpenAI. Despite that infamous 2023 weekend drama where OpenAI CEO Sam Altman was briefly fired, which actually prompted Microsoft to hurriedly prepare a contingency plan with a brand new advanced AI research division, the relationship stabilized. But it also evolved. The deal was renegotiated, granting OpenAI the ability to work with other providers, while Microsoft secured immense flexibility to use OpenAI's IP. Crucially, they got the flexibility to build their own independent models. By 2026, Microsoft envisions a landscape where they are running their own independent, hill-climbed Microsoft AI or MAI models built entirely from the ground up to serve as a rock-solid base for their enterprise customers.
And I think this just brilliantly illustrates the absolutely crazy bet Microsoft initially took. When OpenAI was just a research lab shopping around for backers, their foundational pitch was surprisingly mathematical. Intelligence is log of compute. A lot of people thought it was completely nuts, but Microsoft, they believed them. They bet that simply scaling up raw computing power would exponentially unlock artificial intelligence, a bet that fundamentally altered the trajectory of both companies and, honestly, the tech industry at large.
Now, it is very easy to marvel at the cutting-edge tech and these billion-dollar corporate bets, but we've got to ask a vital question here. What actually happens when this massive compute scaling affects local environments and daily lives?
That brings us to Section 4, navigating the AI backlash, specifically around communities and data centers. Look, there is undeniable anxiety right now regarding resource consumption, water, energy, and of course job displacement. But let's look at how these physical tech deployments actually impact towns over the long term. If we look at a 20-year longitudinal study of Microsoft's data center in Quincy, Washington, a very different picture emerges. In year 1, the facility is established. By year 10, we see a steady increase in local employment. And by year 20, the data shows that responsible AI scaling has significantly increased the local tax base, which actually lowered local taxes for residents, culminating in the economic rejuvenation of the entire town. It just goes to show that when companies act as responsible stakeholders, doing things like replenishing water and providing economic opportunity, the physical footprint of AI can totally be a net positive for local communities.
All right, Section 5, Humans and the Glue Work, the Evolution of Labor.
Now, zooming in from whole towns down to individuals, let's tackle the biggest anxiety of the AI revolution, the future of your day-to-day job. A really great analogy here is typing. If someone in the early 1980s had told you we would soon need 3.5 billion typists, people would have laughed you out of the room. But today, almost all knowledge workers type. We didn't run out of work, the work just changed. Consider the software developer. The developer of the past wrote code directly, moving sequentially from input to output. But the developer of the future won't be writing code from scratch. Instead, they'll manage a repository full of code written by 1,000 autonomous AI agents. This means human workers will transition to what we can call meta work, and this introduces a vital new concept, cognitive coverage. Think of it like test coverage in traditional coding, but for the human brain. It's this essential new meta skill of cognitively understanding, auditing, and managing the vast complexity of automated work artifacts built by these AI agents. You still have to go to school, you absolutely still have to understand computer science, but your job shifts from generating the raw output yourself to possessing the cognitive coverage necessary to ensure what the AI built actually functions correctly and safely.
As Satya Nadella puts it perfectly, we do the glue work. We will discover the new glue work that happens with all this automation. Why? Because human agency, human ambition, and human intent are completely untrainable, and AI cannot generate its own ambition. Therefore, as AI handles the rote generation, we are naturally going to discover new, highly valuable glue work to tie these incredibly complex automated systems together.
Which leads us to our final section, Section 6, the political economy of AI, democracy, markets, and technology. So Nadella set this massive benchmark for the arrival of true artificial general intelligence, or AGI. He stated that it won't be fully realized until it drives 10% global GDP growth. We aren't there yet, not by a long shot, but that 10% is the finish line for proving this technology has fundamentally rewired global productivity.
But this balancing act shows that AI can't just be a novelty. Realizing that 10% GDP growth requires rigorous management discipline, businesses must precisely match the marginal cost of generating an AI token with its marginal economic value. Right now, it's really easy to get addicted to what's called token maxing, just running super complex AI prompts for the fun of it or for totally non-essential tasks, but that doesn't grow the economy. To truly leverage AI, companies have to ensure they aren't using incredibly expensive frontier models for non-frontier problems. The economic return has to justify the compute cost.
Stepping back even further, we have to look at the historical context of how societies manage massive shifts like this. Drawing on historical texts like the book Parallel Paths to Prosperity, it becomes clear that our society's long-term success relies on a really delicate balance. There are three pillars: technological revolutions, free markets, and democracy. There's no such thing as just an economy. It is a political economy. Democracy and free markets act as necessary checks and balances on massive technological disruptions. As AI scales up, we have to rely on this proven social construct to ensure the benefits are managed responsibly.
This broader view forces us to ask a tough question. Are we running out of jobs? Or are we just reaching the next technological plateau? There are some bold proposals floating around right now, including suggestions that the U.S. government might take direct equity stakes in frontier AI companies to ensure wealth is distributed to citizens, kind of similar to how Alaska manages its oil wealth. Regardless of where you personally stand on those specific policies, it highlights the sheer magnitude of the question: is this era truly different for human labor?
Well, the perspective provided by Nadella is deeply grounded in history. Yes, AI is a massive step up. It absolutely belongs in the pantheon of massive societal shifts, right alongside the introduction of steam power and the advent of electricity. It's going to require entirely new platforms and tools. But crucially, it is not the last technology humanity will ever invent. It is a powerful general-purpose technology, but history shows us that humans constantly adapt, and we always invent the next horizon. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought to carry with you. As unmetered machines and AI agents inevitably take over the routine generation of code, of text, and of our daily tasks, how will you apply your uniquely human ambition? What will your new glue work be in the AI-driven economy?